Howie Roseman, he literally ran a master class in drafting and the NFL Draft 101 this weekend. Insane weekend that he put together for us Eagles fans. We're going to talk about it. We're going to start our final prep for Sixers Celtics Eastern Conference semifinals. Tonight begins. And the cyborg, Bryce Harper, may return to the Phillies lineup this week. We got lots to talk about. Join the conversation. Trending in the AM. Overreaction Monday starts in 30 seconds. And a very good morning, everybody, and welcome to Trending in the AM right here on Philadelphia Sports Network. We're live, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, you know the drill. Like, share, retweet, follow on all social media platforms. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure you smash that like and subscribe button. Turn the notifications on any platform so you don't miss when we go live every single morning right here on Trending in the AM. Only way this show works, with your comments. Yes, already rolling in Howie, the GOAT Roseman. He is the professor. I'm calling him the professor because he's running a class 101. Mark already chiming in with Sixers comments. He's dropping 40. I don't know about that, Mark. Welcome to the show, everybody. I am Phil Stifle, your host here every single morning on Trending the AM. You can drop your Phillies comments because Bryce Harper might be back. Your Sixers Celtics predictions. We know Mark's already. And, of course, Eagles, NFL draft, and the best roster in the NFL right now, the best weekend in the NFL. That is for sure. Good morning, Eric. Howie is killing the game. I mean, I saw somebody comment before the show went live. Where is it in here? Howie better be ringing the bell in Philly for this Sixers Celtics series. I mean, is there a guy more? Let me rephrase this question. Is there a person in Philly sports right now, or in the last 20 years, that has been hated as much as Howie Roseman has, that the city is completely flipped and done a full 360 and is madly in love with? Because you can't find a person more popular in Philly right now than Howie Roseman. You just can't. On a side note, anybody watching on Twitter, I ran a Twitter contest on my Twitter poll, or on my Twitter page this week, and we're going to reveal the results. We're going to wait till about 8:30, 8:40 tonight, or this morning in the show, about 15, 20 minutes in. Winner of a Jalen Carter or Nolan Smith jersey. Make sure you're following me on Twitter. Always running great contests over there. So I got about 70, 80 names input into a wheel. So we're going to reveal the winner there in a little bit. But let's recap. This weekend was what I would call one of the best weekends Eagles. Nothing could have gone any better than it did for this Eagles team. Sam Hinkie would have been that guy. Yeah, well, yeah, unless the Colangelo Burnergate didn't happen. I still wonder, Eric. I mean, honestly, it would take like a massive amount of research. But someday, when I have a lot of free time, I want to go through the whole timeline from when Sam Hinkie left and through the Colangelo era, the Brand era, the Morey era, and be like, what would have Sam Hinkie done if he was still here in each of those scenarios? I would love to know what this Sixers team would look like if Sam Hinkie was still in charge. Would we have a title by this point if Sam Hinkie was in charge? I don't know. That's a lot of who knows. We lost the Celtics. We're getting more Sixers comments than Eagles comments to start the show. We lost the Celtics series before it even started. I'm not going to lie. I wasn't confident before they changed Joel Embiid to doubtful for game one tonight. I mean, at full bore, the Sixers team is going to struggle with the Celtics. It's just a difference. Different team, different coach, different culture, different organization. Home team versus a road team. I was very minimally confident in the Sixers team. Yeah, maybe my homerism would have came out at the end of the show and I would have said Sixers in 6. But now with the Joel Embiid rumors circulating, I can't put my stamp of approval on the Sixers winning this series. I just can't. Sam Hinkie for sure would have traded Ben Simmons after his rookie year. Well, after his rookie year, maybe not. But Somewhere in his first few years, possibly, yes. But Howie Roseman goes out. Obviously, Thursday night, we did the show Friday morning. Thank you to everyone that's tuned in all last week. I mean, I've never had that many views on YouTube before. I had over 1,000 views on YouTube this past week. So I appreciate that. So continue to tell your friends about the best morning show there is in the Philadelphia area. Because this is the only place that your comments really, truly matter. I thrive on your comments. We get through this show with your participation. He traded MCW. I remember. I was a huge Michael Carter Williams fan. I just saw. I don't know what I saw, but I was in love with Michael Carter Williams. The ugliest shot, ugliest dribble, super skinny, lanky guy. I don't know, something about him really. I was intrigued by him, but he stunk. Sixers 6-5 last 3 seasons against the Celtics. They are beatable. First off, Mark, the Celtics are beatable, but the Sixers are not as good as they're not as good without Joel Embiid, and I just don't. I just don't get it. I just don't think without Joel Embiid. I know you think Joel plays, but even if he plays at 70%, 80%, we've seen it in the last few years when he's injured by that last playoff series. He's just not the same man. A jump shot or a three. I believe he would have built a dynasty. Ben Simmons into a massive haul before the league knew he was allergic to any shot. Before he was allergic to anything. Playing basketball, period. Holy shit, I did not know we were going to start Sixers today on this show. Man, the Sixers-Celtics series got you guys energized for some playoff basketball. I mean, I hate that we've waited. It's like we've gone a week without basketball here. We had a week in between the end of the regular season to the start of the first round, and then we wrapped up the Brooklyn Nets in 4 games. So we've had over a week to kind of just when was the last game? Saturday? Sunday last week? I don't even know when Game 4 was. Saturday last week. It's been ages. If you paid Ben Simmons $10 million a season, he would have been straight without a jump shot. But his mentality is what got him out of here. Yeah, look, we talked about this on the show for years, that Ben Simmons just doesn't love basketball. He's talented at basketball. It's like me growing up. I was in love with baseball growing up, but I was more talented at basketball, so I played basketball. I didn't love basketball, but if I wanted to compete at the highest level that I possibly could in a sport, basketball was the sport for me to play because I was a good basketball player. I stunk at baseball. Ben Simmons doesn't. Ben Simmons wants to play his video games, date his Kardashians. Look, I joked. I don't know if it's necessarily true, but I've joked that he's not even going to sign another NBA contract. That when this max deal's over, he's made his money. He's out. He's peacing. And whatever. It's a shame to have people like Ben Simmons and Carson Wentz and all their pure talent not work out in Philly. It's a frustrating thing. He would have been traded to the Celtics. The Fultz trade was criminal. We gave away Markelle Fultz for too little. I stand by my statements from 2 years. I mean, 2 years ago when we got rid of him, what was it? Some bench role guy that didn't even stay in Philly after that season and like a second-round pick. I would have just rolled with Markelle Fultz and just put him on the bench until he figured it out. And he's playing really well in Orlando the last year and a half. He's had some injury issues still, but the shoulder issue, the thoracic Thor syndrome, whatever it is, whatever the shoulder injury was, seems to have gotten past that at this point. He's turned into a decent player, but I just don't know how you can be confident. I got the screen green for Eagles talk, and I'm so surprised. We're starting the show with all this Sixers talk. This is hilarious. I thought we would have talked Eagles for like 45 minutes and like rushed through 15 minutes of Sixers talk at the end of the show. But if you want to talk Sixers, we can. Jonathan Simmons, the maxi pick for Fultz. All right, so we got the maxi pick for Fultz? All right, then I can't complain about the trade. I didn't realize it was the maxi pick we got for Fultz. But Jonathan Simmons, he was just a terrible basketball player. He really did nothing at the end of that year. We start Sixers because if Howie makes another move this week, the NFL will prize us. We got to have the links. Dude, I just don't understand how Howie Roseman is getting away with what he's getting away with. I mean, the guy is just on fire. Now, I will say that on paper, he's having the best offseason. On paper, we have the best team. I may put, now that we have Deandre Swift, which we'll get into the Deandre Swift, I'm sure, at some point here in this show, the trade there. On paper, we have the best team in football, I think, at this point. We still have holes on this team, but I think we have the best team in football. And that doesn't always translate. We remember the Dream Team, guys. Don't forget about the Dream Team. From 2011, was it? I don't even remember what year the Dream Team was. So we still got to follow through. And this team has got great leadership and it's got great talent. If adversity hits, we are going to have a much harder schedule than last year. You know, if adversity hits, how they handle it, how they respond to it, it's going to still be some intrigue and interest this season. Don't forget, we took what's his name out of Texas Tech instead of Mikal Bridges. And the Mikal Bridges thing breaks my heart because he was a local guy. But I was also a big Michael Porter Jr. fan. I really thought he would have been great in this organization with the players we had. We made a lot of mistakes there. This Eagles roster, come on, forget it. I was joking before the show on Twitter about regular seasons in sports are meaningless. Regular season's going to be meaningless in the NFC. That is for sure. We need a Charles Oakley-like performance from P.J. Tucker this series to protect Embiid. Absolutely agree. That's a great comparison right there. The young kids, though, Mark, the young kids that are watching the show, you got to understand, I'm old, you're older than me, and we're the last generation that actually remembers watching Charles Oakley live. The Eagles don't have Mahomes. That is true. We might be the best team in paper, but we don't have the best quarterback in the NFL. It's, a repeat Eagles-Chiefs Super Bowl? Very likely. Very, very likely in 2023. I think we have to start talking about cashing in on Embiid's trade ticket. Marshawn, wait. After the season's over, if we lose to the Celtics, we can have that conversation for an entire hour. I guarantee it. But if not having that conversation till the season's over. Man, we are rolling through the comments here. Parsons had me feeling bad. Dude, the Micah Parsons situation on Thursday night, it was great. You can't have a better team cry over how good the Eagles have gotten. It really. Good morning, Adam. How you doing this morning? Go Birds is right. Howie Roseman dominated the draft. He dominated the whole weekend because not just the draft, the trade for Deandre Swift, the undrafted free agents he brought in. He literally dominated the weekend. A master class 101, how to build a football team. Teaching at your local community college by Howie Roseman next week. Guarantee it. Need a lot more Saturday Pro Football name sheet. Gotcha. Hey, how you doing? I watched, just so you know, Johnny Chats, I watched 3 minutes of the Philadelphia Stars this weekend. Was it Sunday, their game against the Pittsburgh Maulers or whatever they're called? I watched 3 minutes of it, and then I turned it off because it was the worst 3 minutes of football I've watched in a long time. This team is different from last year, even though. I feel like the locker room is even more motivated. This league is just, dude. Yeah, I get that. I agree with what you're saying there. I do worry about adversity. I don't worry about adversity with Jalen Hurts, Nick Sirianni a little bit. There are divas in this team. There are egos in this locker room. And the coaching staff is still young and unproven outside of Nick Sirianni. So when the adversity hits, and there will be adversity at some point in time this year, how they respond to it. I hope that Jalen Hurts' leadership overcomes all that. He keeps these guys together. But we'll see. There are rumors coming out of Jalen Carter, after the draft that teams took him off not because of his off-the-field issues, but even part of his locker room issues. That supposedly people don't like him, coaches, he's difficult. Who knows? A.J. Brown, Darius, you got lots of divas in this team. We'll see what happens when the going gets tough. And the going will get tough. Mahomes taking a step back, maybe. I haven't even looked at the Chiefs draft. I don't know if the Chiefs had a good draft or not. Embiid will remain untouchable, probably, Mark. But I don't even want to have that conversation. Whether you got to shop him or you got to keep him untouchable. I don't want to have that conversation yet. I am not confident in this Sixers-Celtics series, but I still want to focus on the Sixers-Celtics series versus the offseason. I already said on Twitter last night, Mark, that I want Doc Rivers gone. If we lose this series in 5 games, I'm hoping the Joel injury doesn't give Daryl Morey an excuse to bring Doc Rivers back. Recap draft pick 1 more time. Jalen Carter is a Philadelphia Eagle. That's all. Oh, you give me the thumbs down on the Philadelphia Stars? You made me watch them. And it was like the worst football I ever watched. It was like a 4th preseason NFL game back when they did 4 preseasons and none of the starters or second stringers would play. It was that bad. 6'9" Oak. That man was a bully. Even Rodman, but at least somebody else in the comments is old enough to remember what Oakley was was like playing. B-Ball Paul giving Rodman vibes. We're going to see a lot of B-Ball Paul this series, whether Embiid plays or not. So we'll see. The energy on the defense, young Dennis Rodman, before he started changing his hair, before he became as outlandish. He was always outlandish, but early in his career, he was a little quieter. Maybe. The defensive flow, the way he runs around the floor, B-Ball Paul, maybe a little bit of early Rodman. I could see it a little bit. Sounds like you put on stars. You said forget about it. I put them on, and then I turned them off really fast. Yeah, that's why Jalen, who is so even keel, is the perfect. Absolutely. So I had a message from somebody saying that, agreeing that, everything I said about the offseason, this draft, this weekend, perfect. Build a great team. We still have holes to address as this Eagles team. We'll get to them in a bit. And this one person's concern, GT, he is what's going to happen when the adversity hits. Because there will be, look, we're not going to win 14, 15 games next year. The schedule's going to be so much tougher. You still only probably need to win 11 or 12 games to win the division. And I still don't think that's a problem. But if they go on a 2 or 3 game losing streak this year and things start to fall apart, if there's an injury or two, how the team handles it. I am confident that Jalen Hurts is enough of a leader to hold that entire locker room together. And that's what saves and keeps this team progressing forward, for sure, in my opinion. Your GM picked to fix holes. You need a team. We still do need a safety. We still do need a linebacker, in my opinion. But he did pick some of the best. I mean, picking Jalen Carter and Nolan Smith, we had one of the best defensive lines in football, and you just made it better. Getting Tyler Steen, who could slot right into the starting right guard if necessary, or as a backup swing guy, if you're going to make Cam Jurgens, great pick. Getting, what's his name, Sidney Brown, he might be the starting safety of this team by week 1. I mean, from what I've seen and what I've read, Sidney Brown's going to be a really good safety on this team, and Philly fans are really going to love him. And then get Kelly Ringo all the way down at 105. That's your guy that's going to basically take over for Slayer Bradbury down the line. That's a success right there. Is Embiid playing tonight? He's listed as doubtful right now. He did get on the plane to go to Boston. So there is a chance he plays, but it's very doubtful at this point. We got to shop Joel after this year's annual second-round letdown. Again, save it for the offseason. I'm not ready for that. I'm not ready for that conversation. If Slim Reaper, Dallas Goedert, Watkins, and Hurts improve their game any better. Yo, can I say something, Eric? I put it on Twitter yesterday. And at some point this offseason, we can have this conversation. Somebody put, I think it was PFF, put a picture of A.J. Brown and Deandre Swift as the best running back wide receiver duo in football. It's not. It's not. But it's close. It's a top 5 running back wide receiver duo. But then I commented on it saying A.J. Brown might not even be the best wide receiver on his team. I think Slim Reaper is actually better than A.J. Brown. If you want to have that conversation at some point this offseason, I would love to have that, spend some time on this show, just saying that I think Devontae Smith is the better wide receiver, or is going to be the better wide receiver. Rodman was good at rebounding, blocking shots, playing defense, got his buckets on putbacks and layups when he would cut to the rim. I remember Rodman with the Pistons. I mean, he was a force his entire career, just a special type of player. B-Ball Paul is similar. I know you love the USFL and XFL. You just love football, Johnny. That's it. You just love football. Who doesn't love football? Stop the cap, Philly, not winning. Better luck next year or decades. What? Let's get that comment right off the screen. I'll still start, just for sakes. But yeah, get that out of here. There's zero chance that the Eagles are not the favorite. I put it out after the weekend. Are the Eagles less than even money to win the NFC at this point? And they're still the favorite, but not less than even money. Best case scenario, Doc retires, resigns, Sam Cassell being elevated. That would be the most likely scenario. I don't think they would fire Doc Rivers. They would ask him to step away and resign because he needs a break to retire, and then he comes back somewhere else down the line, whatever. Oh, stop, Starsgood. Dude, that was the worst 3 minutes of football I watched in my life yesterday. Worst 3 minutes of football. And I love Philly. I just know it is what it is. Look, if you're talking Sixers, maybe we could get into that. But if you're talking Eagles, Eagles are the best team in football right now. Definitely, without a shadow of doubt. David Robinson was that guy. I love David Robinson. The Admiral was one of my favorite basketball players growing up for sure. I'm going over your roster. Did not get Bijan. No. But we got DeAndre Swift. Look, let's get to that. DeAndre Swift. We'll do the if anybody's watching on Twitter, we're going to do the free jersey giveaway. I'm going to talk DeAndre Swift for 5 minutes, pound through some more comments here, and then we will do it at 8:50. 15 minutes from now, we will do the jersey giveaway. I got the wheels set up and ready to go. We got DeAndre Swift for a 7th-round pick and a 5th-round pick in 2025. Just think about that. Just think about that. We got rid of Miles Sanders. He went and signed his $6 million a year contract, and I keep saying you're not going to replace his 1,300 yards and 11 touchdowns. Well, you went out and got Rashad Penny and DeAndre Swift for literally a combined $3 million and a 7th and 5th round draft pick. So now we've got the options. Now the question is, we do have a crowded running back room. What do you do? Well, in my opinion, and I know it's going to be the unpopular opinion, Rashad Penny's not going to make the roster. His contract is very cuttable. You've got Kenneth Gainwell, who's not going anywhere. Boston Scott, not going anywhere, in my opinion. The Eagles love him. And they do like Trey Sermon, and he's super cheap as well. So I think Trey Sermon's their 4th running back. I think you're going to go into the season with Swift, Gainwell, 1-2, Scott, your backup. That's the way it's going to go, in my opinion. Maybe they cut Sermon over Penny, but I wouldn't be surprised. You're taking huge gamble, taking Carter. But the thing is, we have the luxury to take that risk because we're already a Super Bowl roster. We have great leaders on this team. You can take a risk. When you have the luxury of already having this team set the way it is, it was interesting. Mel Kiper talked about it because Bijan went to the Falcons. They already have a 1,000-yard rookie running back last year in Tyler Algier. They're not a Super Bowl team. They don't have the luxury to take something, a luxury. When you have a Rolls Royce, you don't go out and buy a second one when you can't afford the gas money. The Eagles can afford the gas money, so they have the opportunity to take that chance every game. Eric R. That's what I want. Rivers gone, Cassell coach. That's kind of what I've been wanting for like 2 years now. But that is, yeah, exactly. I mean, who's going to beat the Eagles in the NFC? I don't know. What is up, Drew? Good morning. We're talking Eagles. We're talking Sixers. We've gotten a lot more Sixers comments in the box so far than Eagles actually, and no Phillies comments yet. I'll make sure I say 5 minutes for Phillies at the end. We have not. We did draft or trade or sign. We signed Olamide Zaccheaus from the Falcons, which I think is an underrated move. They did pick up Jordan Hasselwood, who some people are kind of high on in the undrafted free agent group, but we'll see. After the draft fiasco with that Philly reporter trying to ask negative questions to Howie about Carter, I think credentials should start being taken or threatened. Change media culture. Put me in the media room. Let me ask the questions. I need to set this up and do the morning show from the draft next year. Yo, Liam, make sure I got a table set up at the draft next year. Please. I think it'd be good. Tanner McKee. Now that was a questionable move. Drafting a quarterback that does not fit our system. For sure. That was definitely a questionable move. Which need Joel needs? I have 2 perfectly good ones. Well, why don't you just give them both of them? Why don't we just cut? Yeah, I mean, why not? I don't even know if Tanner McKee is the backup. He's listed on the depth charts as the number 4 quarterback behind Ian Book still, but he'll battle for that. But McKee just doesn't fit. I mean, he's the most immobile quarterback in the draft this year. You could have gone, if you're going to continue building the Georgia Bulldogs in Philadelphia, you should have just gone and drafted Stetson Bennett, their quarterback at Georgia. That would have been the smart move, and that would just continue the Bulldog theme. Sometimes teams have holes. That's just what it is. We're not going to be able to cover everything. Well, we have 2 holes left on this team. Linebacker and safety. Right now, if I'm looking at the depth charts, linebackers right now, obviously you got Hassan Reddick, Nolan Smith. They play more edge than linebacker. Your 2 starting linebackers are Nakobe Dean and Nicholas Morrow. That's not good enough. You got to improve that. Your safeties right now, you got Reed Blankenship, Terrell Edmonds, and maybe Sidney Brown cracks the starting rotation. Now, if you go out there and go get Budda Baker or Devin White or another linebacker, now all of a sudden things are a little bit better. But you definitely got to improve that safety room and that linebacker room for sure. Why all this hate and despair about the Sixers? I hate the fans Look, I'm not. We're just look, Mark. I'm just being realistic. The Celtics are a damn good team, and we're going to be missing or at least limited with our best player. The MVP of the league is not even 70% at this point, according to what we're seeing and hearing. That's the problem. Now, if Joel Embiid was playing, it was 90%, 88%. You might feel differently. But Joel Embiid is going to miss time in this series. And if he doesn't, he is going to be extremely limited. Remember when he played with the MCL sprain or whatever a few years? He just was not the same player. You just can't be confident that a guy that's that injured is that good. Oh, you do agree that Devontae Smith is better than A.J. Brown. I love it. I'm glad I'm not the only one that feels that way, Eric. I'm glad. I was worried I was going to get crushed on that one. But I really do feel that. It's going to be a repeat Golden State versus Celtics. Possibly Phoenix. Don't be surprised if the Lakers. I predicted that if Phoenix didn't make the finals, that it would be the Lakers. They got past Memphis. Let's watch and see what happens here. I'm high on the Lakers this year. Where other teams have a top wide receiver, running back, triplet duo, you can't forget about triplet at least because you got Dallas Goedert. Throw that in there as well. I mean, it's still something special right there. Not sure how good Swift is. Swift is a great running back that has excessive injury issues. But in this running back, they're going to run a rotation. They're not going to give 1,300 yards to Swift like Miles Sanders last year. It's going to be Swift 12 carries a game. Kenneth Gainwell 11 carries a game. Boston Scott 3. Penny or Sermon 3. It's going to be a rotation, so you're going to be able to keep them healthy. And that's why Swift is straight. And Swift's only going to cost $1.5 million. And he cost you 2 years from now a 5th-round pick. I mean, it's a steal of a deal, in my opinion. What did Jason have to say about the Lions trading Swift to the Eagles? I actually haven't asked him about it. He was still bitter about how bad their draft went overall. So I'll ask him today, Adam, and I'll find out for you. But I know he's a fan of Swift, just not a fan of his injuries, constantly being out and hurt on the lineup. If someone asks you if Eagles are good, how do you correctly say forget about it? Yeah, they're not good, the Eagles. The Eagles are nowhere near good. They're great. That's how I would respond to that. They're the best team in football. BTIF. Best team in football. He's a strong number 2, but he's not going to be better than AJ. I mean, at this point, he's like 1.5 to AJ Brown's 1, but I think he can be better. I really do. He catches the ball. He gets to the high points. He runs great routes. He plays so much bigger than his frame actually is. I love Devontae Smith. I'm a big Devontae Smith fan. I really am. And it shows there. Deandre Swift, I mean, he rushed for, I think, like 800 yards. I think he averaged over 5 yards a carry last year, but he missed like half a dozen games last year. The Lions and Panthers. The Panthers aren't winning anything this year. They're going to be better. They're building a good culture, but they're not going to win anything this year. Trust me. Sorry. B-Ball Paul and Dennis Rodman. That's a decent comparison. Yeah, we've talked about that a few times on the show already. It's a really interesting comparison. One I didn't really think of. And when the offseason comes around and I start talking about building around B-Ball, no, I'm not going to talk about that. Not going to do it. Not going to talk about it. It's the truth. Don't get mad at me. I'm talking about the Sixers. Gotcha. I get it. I gotcha. 49ers, best in other division. But they had a terrible draft. What's one of their biggest weaknesses? Protecting their quarterback. And they didn't draft a freaking lineman. They need to improve their offensive line. How many quarterbacks did they blow through because they kept getting hit? And they didn't draft an offensive lineman early in the draft. So the 49ers didn't get any better this offseason. I'm behind, so you thought I was talking about, okay, gotcha, you're behind. I understand. Well, refresh, catch up. Just slide that little red bar, skip over what you missed, get in here. But it's all good because we're having a lot of fun here today. We're rolling right through. You need a better number 3? Yeah, we definitely do. This I have to constantly look at his name to say it. And I have it on the screen here. Alamid Zachuis from the Falcons might be the steal of the draft. He's better than Quez Watkins, but him as 3. Yeah, I really did want an upgrade at the wide receiver. There still might be. Jarvis Landry is still out there. I'm really intrigued by Jarvis Landry. Not always healthy, but I would really be intrigued if Jarvis Landry was brought in here to be that slot wide receiver. It would be something interesting, to say the least. We did not upgrade backup tight end. We're going to roll with Jack Stoll, it seems like, in Grant Calcaterra. We don't need that running back DeAndre Swift. Well, you got him for next to nothing, though. And that's the thing. Like, if they had a trade, like people were talking about trading like a second-round pick for Josh Jacobs or a second-round pick for, whoever. No. You didn't have to waste your first-round pick on Bijan. And you were able to trade a fifth-round pick in 2 years to get a running back of his quality for $1.5 million. I'm all for it. Embiid doesn't need to be traded. If someone would play and develop the youth around Embiid, Max. Well, hold on. So you can't say don't develop the youth when Maxey has been developed. I crush Doc Rivers on a regular basis, but this organization has developed Tyrese Maxey. They failed developing everybody else, but they did their. I'm calling them Max Money Maxey. You did develop a max player in Tyrese Maxey. So let's not criticize the lack of development when they have developed one very key cog in this organization and this team. Our O-line is the best. Getting Tyler Steen for your wrestling fans. Every time I see his name, I just think of Kevin Steen. He could slide in and play right guard right from the get-go probably if you don't want to move Cam Jurgens from that backup center position and developing as Kelsey's future replacement. Chats probably needs to do some homework. Hey, we all need to do some homework sometimes. Always ban media who ask. No, I don't mind tough questions being asked, but you got to think of timing and the way you phrase your questions. You can still ask tough questions. You really can. And I'm ready to ask those tough questions. So put me in, coach. Get me to the media credentials. I'll go to any event. Set this show up out in front and do it. Why not? We have a great running back group. We had a great running back group last year with Miles Sanders. And you take Miles Sanders out, you had Penny and Swift. We're not going to skip a beat. So as long as Swift and Penny can stay healthy. If anyone questions the management, they need to be fired. Well, I don't know about that. Just me. I'm allowed to question whoever I want. I really would love to know what team in the NFL literally has 0 holes. Exactly. Every team has holes. The Chiefs had holes. And fantasy roster. Yeah, I get it. Howie Roseman's built the most complete team as it stands right now. I mean, there's holes, sure. And if Howie Roseman doesn't make another move the rest of the offseason, it's fine. I'm good. I'm good with that. Now, I think he can still do it. It's all about timing. And the timing is now to go all in. I mean, they have the best roster. Why not make it even better? Make sure they win that Super Bowl this year. Hell, the way this organization is built and this team is built, the Eagles right now, with youth, you got a young quarterback, a young wide receiver, you got veterans, you got leaders, you got Pro Bowlers, all pros, young studs. If the Eagles don't make 2 or 3 more Super Bowls in the next 5 years, that would be a huge surprise. That's how well built, short-term and long-term this organization is. And think about it. Howie Roseman still got 3 picks in the first 2 rounds next year on top of all this. So whatever happens this year, whoever we lose this year, whoever retires after this year, we got 3 elite picks next year to keep it going. So Howie Roseman is building a winning roster now and for future years, which is great. They're going to keep all of them because Boston Scott is not going to be. I think they keep Boston Scott, honestly. I do. I think it's Sermon or Penny that's the odd man out. Call me crazy, but that's just where I look at it. Ian Book is probably gone. Yeah, but Tanner McKee doesn't do anything for me either. If you have to get to your third string quarterback, just look at the 49ers. Yeah, you're screwed anyway. So, if Ian Book or Tanner McGee got to play, hell, if Marcus Mariota's got to play more than 2 games this year, we're in trouble. Drew, it wasn't a tough question. It was barely a question. I don't even know what question you guys are all talking about. It was a biased statement posed as a question, speculative, and it brought. Yeah, honestly, I didn't see it. I don't know who said it. If you guys want to comment that, I'll look into it. But Bills got great guard. Yeah, the Bills. We're not Bills fans in this room. And Books can join my stars. He might not even make the stars. It's Books, isn't it? I don't know. Not Brooks. I'm serious when I say the NFL needs to make agreements with XFL teams to get back up some experience. Yeah, I saw somebody talking about that before on social media about the XFL or USFL being like a development territory, like the minor leagues. Not totally against it. You would need more teams. I don't know how that would work. That would be a big picture. And I'm not asking you because I know he's not the best quarterback in the league. Forget about it. I think they go get Baker but Devin White isn't that good. I know a lot of people are low on Devin White. Buda Baker would be the elite choice for me, 100%. I'd be all for Buda Baker being an Eagle. I think you could get him. I don't think it's going to happen now. I think it's going to happen later. Howie Roseman isn't going to be making many moves right now. But remember, Chauncey Gardner-Johnson was August 20th when he was brought in. So this roster is still not complete. You're going to have post-June 1st cuts happening. You're going to have training camp cuts happening. You're going to have more trades happening. The offseason is still 2 months. The rumored May 11th is when the schedule is going to drop. And we'll break it down, obviously, on this show. But, I can't even make a prediction win-loss record until I see this roster's completed after the preseason's over. That is right. We are the Philadelphia Bird Dogs, the Georgia Eagles, whatever you want. We do need Buda Baker. Smith, the last half of the season, playoff and Super Bowl, just kept ascending. I think, I don't know if he's top 5 yet, but I think he's going to be a top 5 wide receiver in the NFL without a shadow of a doubt. Might be the best roster, but Mahomes is better. Mahomes is the best quarterback. Dalton Kincaid is great. I don't know about that. You're really trying to egg me on this morning. No hate, just the truth. I love it. I love it. There's no hate in this show, ever. If there's any ultra negativity in the comments, peace out. We want to have a very fun and engaging conversation. That's what Trending in the AM is about. Engagement. Me, you, and everybody else just talking. He's not better yet, but he's going to be. Chat's tripping Goddard is a top. Yeah, Goddard is a top 5 tight end. But Goddard is always hurt, and that's why I wanted Stone Calcaterra upgraded. You think about it, he's missed 12 games in the last 3 years. Twice he's missed 5 in a season. We talk about injury-prone players in Philly. Dallas Goddard's an injury-prone player. 49ers got weaker. We're trying to get through these comments here. There's so many. Oh, let me pause. We'll get back to the comments in a section. It's time. All right, I ran a poll or contest on my Twitter page. Make sure you follow me, @BeardOfKnowledge, okay, on Twitter. I ran a contest, giving away a Nolan Smith or Jalen Carter jersey to one lucky winner. Here are all the people that entered. We are going to spin this wheel, and we're going to find out who's winning. Make sure you follow me for my contest. Let's see who is the winner. It really had to be Joe Castro. Really? Joe Castro, you are the winner. Of course it was Joe Castro. The guy just doesn't stop. The guy's a winner. Joe Castro, you won the jersey. I'll hit you up after the show. Holy shit. Joe Castro seems to win everything. I see him winning things on every show. Hey, guy, he was a credentialed media member. I'll get him on the show this week to talk credentials and what it was like covering the draft for AAT Sports. Maybe the top 10 before the nutcase. Let's keep going. At Johnny Chats, Dallas Goddard is a top. Yeah, exactly. Johnny Chats is not an Eagles fan. He's a great supporter of the show, and I appreciate you, Johnny. I really do. But he's not an Eagles fan, so he's not as familiar as we would like him to be. Who better, Miles or Swift? Well, Swift is an Eagle now, so Miles Sanders now. I'm a big Miles Sanders fan. You guys got to know that. Yeah, Chats to be saying anything, hoping it sticks. Well, he's not a fan. He's just a football guy, and he loves the show. Let's not be too harsh on him. He's a good supporter of this show the last 3-4 weeks. Boston Scott is going to be doing kick returns and punt returns. Sure. We don't have anybody right now. I disagree. Maxie's work ethic developed him. He developed himself. Doc had a hard on for Milton. Come on. You got to give some credit to the coaches for doing some of it. You got to. You can't say it was all on him, and then the guys that didn't develop was all on the coaches. There's got to be a little bit of give and take there. There's got to be. Yeah, Boston Scott will be the kick returner. I don't know. Britt Covey turned it on a little bit at the end of the season in the playoffs. I mean, I still think he's going to get destroyed, but every time he touches the ball. But the person who's running that is all about the competition. Looks like in the NFL, like the NFL wants to look at them like backups. Yeah, let's keep it rolling here. Last week, so yeah, we'll expand. Do you think XFL will start getting top 5 recruits out of high school? Whew, that's interesting. I don't know. Is that even a possibility? I don't know. That's interesting. Kind of like how the G League lets players go from high school there. They have that one team. It's a possibility. Skip college and get right to making money. Hurts had probably the best Super Bowl performance from a losing Super Bowl quarterback I've ever seen. And my first Super Bowl I watched was the 49ers Bengals. What was that, 88? And it was probably the best losing quarterback performance I had ever seen. All due respect, I like learning about teams. Yeah, dude, Johnny, don't worry about them. I'll wrangle these guys up. I appreciate you in the comments. I appreciate you tuning in and chatting every single day with us here. I do. Somebody being delusional again, talking about the 49ers getting weaker. The 49ers didn't get any better. How did they get better? They needed offensive line help. They didn't get it. I know. Drew, Joe Castro, always winning things, man. I see him winning contests left and right. I don't win shit. And Joe Castro wins again. Joe Castro got gifted credentials to the freaking NFL draft, and he's here winning freaking free jerseys, too. Man, Joe Castro, I don't know what to tell you. Where did the 49ers get weaker at some? They didn't get better at any position. That's the thing. They lost to the Eagles. They have quarterback issues, and they didn't get better. That's the problem. They didn't get worse, but they didn't get better. That wheel was packed. Dude, it took me 45 minutes yesterday, my day off on Sunday, 45 minutes to type every single person's name into that wheel generator, Adam. I had a little stateside vodka tea here sitting next to me, and I was typing names away. It took a lot of time. The Eagles are my NFC team, you could say. They better be. If you're going to keep hanging out here, you got to be an Eagles fan. You got to. Johnny Chats Kincaid. Yeah, great. Eagles tight end. Yeah, Eagles tight end is not a question, but the backup tight end is. It's my opinion. It is. Yeah, Boston Scott, punt returner, probably not. Kick returner, okay. Britton Covey will probably still be that punt returner. Like I said, I don't think he did that bad at the end of the season. I think he slowly started to figure it out. Howie's excellent. Look back to one of the first comments before the show even started. Howie Roseman better be ringing the bell for Game 3 in Philly for the Sixers. That would be the thing. Tell me, would there be anybody? I mean, it'll probably be Jalen Carter or Nolan Smith. But would anybody get a louder round of applause at the Sixers game, ringing the bell, than Howie Roseman? I love it. I love it. I'm asking the top questions. I mean, except for the USFL questions. That's it. Those questions, nobody understands. Not even me. And I tried to watch them. I did. Special teams needs to block better on punt returns. Yes, we need a punter. I think we picked up an undrafted free agent punter. Special teams what were we ranked? 30th in the league last year on special teams overall last year. And Michael Clay didn't get fired. He got brought back. He got an extension and a pay raise, actually. And we're talking too much here today. I haven't even finished my first cup of coffee. Purdy is not going to be that good forever. Well, Purdy isn't good anyway. Trey Lance, they don't know what they're doing with their quarterbacks. You still got Trey Lance, you got Brock Purdy. The whole 49ers quarterback situation, but that's where the culture and the organization is still really good. They were able to survive multiple quarterbacks going down and get to the NFC Championship game. So you got to give the organization credit. But they didn't fix some of their weaknesses. They got Javon Hargrave, which is great. They gave a lot of money to Javon Hargrave, but Purdy can get better. I mean, he could definitely get better. And they got a great system around him. They got Deebo Samuel and Brandon Ayuk and a really good team. I just don't know how you commit. They're not committed to Purdy or Lance, and that's the problem. They haven't made a decision on who their quarterback is, so there's going to be a lot of internal struggles there. And that could split a locker room when you don't. You saw it with the Carson Wentz, Jalen Hurts when they were here. It splits a locker room. The Bills only got a tad better. Yeah, I don't even know who they drafted. So this draft was crazy. How he literally batted 100. I don't know. The Tanner McKee. That's the only one that I'll question. But even that, he still got an A++. He hit on every level. He dominated the undrafted signees. Absolutely. Teams are going to have anxiety when it comes to – dude, Howie Roseman, like, if I'm other NFL teams, I'm just looking at Howie Roseman and being like, yo, every one of his assistants, can we find their phone numbers and hire them over here? Because every other team is going to want what we have. And it's going to be the GM factory in Philly here. 49ers invest in Purdy. And that's the question. Who are they investing in? We don't know. I would love Howie to fix the Sixers and the Flyers. The Phillies, we'll debate the Phillies if we have to. But we kind of need Howie to run the entire – can Howie just be the mayor of the city of Philadelphia? Because I know the city of Philadelphia needs some help too. And there's a mayoral race going on in Philly. I don't live in the city, so I can't vote for it. But, Howie should just be mayor of Philadelphia, and everything would be great. XFL, simple. Money comes from TV. At Drew, Boston Scott is returning kicks. Probably not punts, though. That's the thing. That's what I think we're getting at. That's a good problem to have. Which problem? I don't know which one we're talking about. Howie Roseman. But punts is still going to be Covey, I think. I'm for sure on that. I think Britton Covey earned it. I think he did better. I don't have a problem with reporters asking tough questions. I have a problem with the pessimistic approach that some of these guys take when it isn't necessary. Yeah, absolutely. Sometimes people pass on asking the tough questions to keep their buddy relationships with the teams. But sometimes they ask too tough of questions or too much of an asshole type question, which just makes them come off trying to sound tough, but they just come off as assholes. So there's got to be a common ground. There's ways to ask tough questions in a polite manner. And I still don't know what you guys are talking about in these comments about the tough question about Jalen Carter. We'll get to it. I got Purdy's support system right here. Hey, Purdy was all right. Whatever. He wasn't the Tom Brady people were projecting him as. We can't even enjoy this team's success because of how the media comes off sometimes. That's why you forget about the national media and the big-time media. Focus on me and Philadelphia Sports Network. You get good articles on Philadelphia Sports Network's website, great podcasts, great interaction. Forget the big wigs. Focus on the small timers. We're going to be the big wigs eventually at some point. That's just the way I look at it. I think the Phillies are good. They just started slow. Dude, they're 4 out of 2. They took 2 series in a row against Houston and Seattle. I watched all of last night's Sunday Night Baseball game. I know it was the loss of the series, but Phillies are turning the corner, it looks like. Bryce Harper may be back in the lineup tomorrow. Anybody want to talk about Bryce, the cyborg? If he plays tomorrow, 160 days since Tommy John surgery, and he's playing baseball, holy crap. What a turnaround that is. I want Howie as my financial advisor. Forget the sure. I'm just going to give him my checkbook and all my information. Say, yo, I know in 5 years I'm going to be a billionaire. 49ers quarterback problem. It's a problem. Absolutely. But you got Shanahan, you got Lynch, you got a good organization there that's going to try to hold it together. Cordell Patterson trade, where did he get traded to? I wanted Cordell Patterson on the Eagles at the trade deadline last year. I like him. He's a good punt kick returner. I don't think we have room for him on this team now, based off the fact he's a running back, not really a wide receiver. Yeah, basically. There's a lot of unhurt people out there right now. Bill's been the last media guy that questioned them. A lot of organizations and teams do that. That's why they're scared to ask the tough questions. But they don't mind tough questions if you ask them the right way. I still don't know. What this question is that everybody's debating. If somebody could please tell me what this question is that caused so much problems, I'd greatly appreciate it. Advise every Phillies team to start with the Sixers first. Start what with the Sixers? The Phillies are great. And the Sixers, well, we're going to find out tonight. We are going to find out what they're like tonight. Bean and Howie build trenches. Now the quarterback pick. Look, the Eagles built the trenches. They continue building the trenches. We got some. Reuben Frank tried to hammer Howie and Nick on why he thinks Jalen Carter wasn't sorry for the 2 deaths he caused. Did he really say that Jalen Carter wasn't sorry? Did he use those words? Because if that's what Reuben Frank said, and I'm the Eagles, then that's old school Reuben Frank trying to get his name back in the headline. The old school are learning how to be clickbait media. That's what that is. If that's how he phrased it, I lost a lot of respect for Reuben Frank right there. Oh, the media guy was asking Jalen Carter not seeming remorseful. Exactly. I mean, whew. Yeah, I mean, that's a harsh way to phrase the question. You could have, okay, so if that was the question, and if Reuben Frank was seriously concerned about it, he could have said, did you guys speak to Jalen Carter about the incident? Do you feel that he's learned from his mistake? And you could get the same response. You could get the same answer and not sound like a total tool bag. I mean, that's how I would have asked it. Yeah, but if Johnny, if the question was asked the way that these guys are saying, maybe. Yeah, I think that the way that these guys are saying the question was asked, Eric and John, then it was a very disrespectful way of phrasing it. But you could have phrased it in a different way. Howie, he said he didn't come across to him as remorseful. Didn't come across to Reuben Frank as remorseful. That's just the wrong way. That's making the question about you and not the team or the player. And that's the wrong way to do it. You could have said, all you had to say was, did you guys talk to him about it? And did you feel that he's learned from his mistakes? That is the way you ask that question. You ask the hard-hitting question, but in a polite way. What did you learn from him that makes you think he's learned from his mistake and that might be not be who he is character-wise? Look, I just phrased the question. Ruben, you want me to write your questions for you, Ruben Frank? Hit me up. I can ask the tough questions in a polite way. Lions looked serious, but then showed that they were more focused on selling seats. Yeah, the Lions were the biggest failure, and the Falcons, in my opinion. No on Cordell Patterson. Agree. Ruben Frank is a Fed trying to get a confession. Oh, man. Undercover spy? Yeah, you can have good tact in the way you say things. Look, I present a very positive show here. I still criticize. I try not to be negative, but I still try to bring up the criticizing questions on the show and conversation points. There's a way to say things and a way not to say things. What you guys are telling me, the way Ruben Frank said it, was not tactful whatsoever. And for Ruben Frank, since you're not from Philly, you don't know Philly, Ruben Frank's been around for a long time covering the Eagles and Philly sports. So he's one of those old timers in Philly. But you're also making someone feel sorry for something that he felt like he didn't do anything wrong. Yeah, I don't know. Ruben Frank asked the question after another reporter asked about their interview and making the choice. So somebody asked the right question, and then he decided to follow it up with just interjecting what his opinion was, which is just an opinion, not a question. Reporters should ask questions, not give their opinions in the interviews. The Fed thing is, I still don't get the Bijan to the Falcons. I knew it was a possibility, but I don't get it. I don't understand it. He asked that question the way he wanted to ask that question because he don't like the guy. Nobody cares how he feels. We're all happy the guy didn't do anything wrong. He was in an unfortunate... Look, I'm not judging Jalen Carter. I'm not in a place to judge what Jalen Carter did. I can have my own opinions, which I'm going to keep personal on what he did. But you can ask questions and not interject your opinion in them. Journalists are supposed... Like, I'm not a journalist. I'm a podcaster, a content creator, a YouTuber. I can have an opinion. A journalist is supposed to have no opinion openly on the matter. They're supposed to write unbiased articles and write unbiased questions. That's how you become a successful journalist. And the way this is all unfolding here in the comments, it's obvious that it was a way for Ruben Frank to let his personal opinion shine through instead of just keeping to the facts and keeping to the interview questions. I mean, there have been plenty of media members in Philadelphia that have been banned from certain teams. It happens. It does. Ruben Frank's not going to get banned for this. He might not be called on as frequently when he's at these pressers. As a Bills fan who had Henry, Spiller, McGee, Lynch, and so on. Stars. You got to keep it with the Philadelphia Stars. I love it. Comments are slowing down here. Means I get to talk a little bit more. Again, a few seconds ago, Falcons getting Bijan Robinson. Biggest mistake of the draft. You had so many holes on your team. I get that. The Deandre Swift trade. A home run. Looking at this Eagles roster and this Eagles draft. Again, recapping Jalen Carter, Nolan Smith, Tyler Steen, Sidney Brown, Kelly Ringo. Those top 5 picks. Slam dunk picks. All 5 of those players are going to make immediate impacts on this team week 1. We do realize he turned himself in. So what does that mean exactly? He doesn't care? I don't know. Like I'm not making my opinions on that out there. He questioned Allen after a terrible game. He thought it was a win. My opinions of Falcons had the worst draft because that was really bad. It was. Basically, thank you. Atlanta should have taken Jalen Carter. Honestly, Atlanta would have been the place to take him. Or get a lineman. Or anybody. Just don't get a running back when you already have a good running back and you're not a playoff team. Yeah, I mean, look, was against Bijan, then I was for Bijan, then I was against. I was flip-flopping on Bijan nonstop. But from day one, I said I wanted Jalen Carter. That was my number one choice for the Eagles. From day one, I never wavered off of it. And then the fact that some people were projecting Nolan Smith at 10 to the Eagles, and we got him all the way at 30. A lot of teams had to screw up and make some reaches. There were a lot of reaches in the first round. I hope Tyree Jackson pans out. He may not. He may be on his last opportunity, or maybe Calcaterra's. I see some potential in Calcaterra. I don't get the Tyree Jackson stuff. Like, what has he done to earn a roster spot at this point? In my opinion, nothing. Yeah, I mean, I would be more concerned with Jalen Carter. The rumors coming out of the draft that coaches from Georgia were not fond of Jalen Carter in the locker room, that he was a difficult player to work with and coach. Like, I would be at this point more concerned with those comments and rumors than the off-the-field incident, in my opinion. That's what I would be concerned with. Cox and Carter will be best friends because that's just an awful thing to say. Brock Bowers next year. I'm not worried about next year. Not worried about next year yet. We haven't even started this year. We don't even know our schedule yet this year. Let's focus on this year. People are already putting out their mock 2024 drafts. I ain't worried about that. Not doing it. Look, but Jalen Carter is going to go into a locker room with Brandon Graham, Hassan Reddick, Fletcher Cox, Jalen Hurts, all these leaders, grown-ups, Jason Kelsey, Lane Johnson. You're telling me that if you're worried about him, this is the locker room to put a troubled soul in. If he is troubled, this locker room is the place to do it. Because there is enough leaders here that are going to be able to keep him in check and keep him in shape and keep him, teach him how to be a professional and an adult. He's just big. Exactly. He had like one or two flashes in one game, then was hurt entirety after that. Bijan ain't running for 1,800 yards. Well, he would behind our offensive line, but they're not happening at all. Do you agree that some GMs only build rosters to fill seats? Well, I think they rush to make judgments to fill seats. I think it happens more on the first day of free agency than in the draft. Teams just blow all this money out to these guys without thinking, on the first day of free agency, what do we need to improve our team? Instead, a lot of GMs just go, who are the biggest names, and we outbid on them. I think they do it more then than in the draft. The draft, it's either you either have the philosophy best player available, even if it doesn't fit what you need, or you reach for players because you've got holes on your team. I think the seat filling is on free agency, and a lot of people overspend on wrong players. Not bad players, wrong players that don't fit what they need, what their scheme is, and stuff like that. Tyree's chances. I don't think so. The word is they took the running back because the guy who's coaching, I believe he's a running backs coach. Don't matter. You already have Tyler Algier, and you have a team full of holes, and you go get another running back. I don't agree with it. Host, you need to not waste first, and you get good effort. The concern, have football as his main focus. Well, again, on this team with this team of leaders, he should have the focus. He's going to be taught how to stay focused. There's no bullshit on this team. This team wants to. There's a lot of vets that want their last chance at the Super Bowl. Jalen Hurts ain't going to accept no BS from anybody. If you're going to put Carter in a situation, you put him in a situation like Philly, who's had troubled souls, if that's what he is, before, and they've turned their careers and their personal lives around. Just look at Michael Vick. Like, think what you want about what Michael Vick did off the field. I've got 4 dogs barking in the background right now. Awful. He was able to turn his life around in this culture and organization. So I have all the confidence that we could do that. I never wanted the running back. I always thought that was a bad idea. Yeah, I agree. I knew it was a bad idea. I bought into the hype. I kind of got into the hysteria. Why not? The slot receiver on this team will be Swift. I don't know about that. I know Swift can catch the ball in the backfield, but you might see Kenny G or Swift both in the field at the same time, one in the slot. It's a possibility. Carter meets Jordan Mailata. His life will change forever. Jordan Mailata, take away how great he's become of a football player. There ain't a better dude. I mean, the guy is just so kind and sweet. Like, he's a big teddy bear. Like, I just want to go give Jordan. I know it sounds weird. I just want to go give Jordan Mailata a big hug. He's a great dude, and his singing voice is fantastic. And I love the story of Jordan Mailata, how he went and asked his parents for permission to come play football and all that, and they weren't sure about it. Dude, Jordan Mailata, can we please get Jordan Mailata with 1 rushing touchdown this year, please? I've been begging since day one. Can this be the year he gets it? There were a lot of teams. There were 3 teams ahead of the Eagles: the Raiders, the Lions, and the Bears that took Jalen Carter off their board because of the gamble. But those organizations aren't built like Philadelphia Eagles, where they can take that risk because they've got a great culture. And they're already a Super Bowl team. If Jalen Carter doesn't work out, it's not going to set this team back for 5 years. That's the difference between the Eagles and other organizations right now. That's exactly right. We've got the right guys here. I am not worried about it one bit. Not at all. I'm not. And I think that's why it's such a great pick as well. How do I feel about the safety room? We better get Budda Baker. It's not going to happen today. It's not going to happen tomorrow. But sometime in August, if we can add Budda Baker, I'm more concerned about our linebacker room than our safety room. I will say that. I think that the Reed Blankenship, Terrell Edmonds, Sidney Jones trio is better than the Nakobe Dean, Nicholas Morrow, Sean Bradley, Davian Taylor group. I really, really think our linebackers are a problem at this point. Do I think Jalen Hurts doesn't run as much? I mean, he's going to run. I'm hoping with Swift. I'm hoping with Gainwell. I'm hoping with this team that they try to keep those 15 and 18 rush attempt type games off the cards. But Jalen Hurts is always going to run. Jalen Hurts has grown leaps and bounds as a passing quarterback. We know that. We saw that last year. But when it comes down to it, Jalen Hurts is still a running quarterback. You can protect him by not making him run 15 times a game, but he's always going to have 8 to 10 rushes a game. He's just going to. I mean, he's going to get 2 or 3 tush pushes a game. So he's not going to run as much, but he's still going to run. And I want him to run at the right times. I want him to continue to learn to be more like Russell Wilson with the Seahawks when he was at his peak. He still ran, but protected himself massively. That's all. I want Jalen Hurts to protect himself a little bit more. A seat filler is who? Bijan Robinson, I'm guessing. Dogs go out of their way to personally greet my. Yeah, well, that just I don't know. That just sounds like a weird way. I don't know if that's how. To me, when I'm reading your comment, Eric, it sounds, it sounds weird the way you phrased it. I think I get what you're saying, but it just comes off weird. It just does. Sorry. He's not a running back. He's our left tackle. He's just a 309,000-pound Samoan rugby football all-star. We don't have a transitional. No, I'm thinking about Jarvis Landry. You could probably get him cheap. Would you guys like Jarvis Landry in our slot? I kind of feel like Jarvis Landry would be a good slot receiver. We have Oz in the building. I don't know what that means. Who's Oz? I'm not sure. I want Trenton Simpson bad. He's good. He's in good hands on the Ravens. Yeah. Oz in the slot. Zacchaeus. That's right. We're using his initials because we can't pronounce his name. That's right. My bad. It took me a second to realize who you're talking about there. He's definitely going to run, normally do slide, but he does like to run people over. We need less of the running people over, more getting out of bounds. That would really be the goal. The system ain't changing. The system isn't changing. It's not. Man, another day. We're over an hour into this show. I haven't even said anything. I'm just going off you guys. I love you guys. This has been a great show again. OZ might be the steal of free agency. Honestly, what we got him for, how cheaply, in my opinion, he's already better than Quez Watkins. I just don't know if he's good enough to be that starting 3. Hold on, are you talking to me? I'm calling you out. I don't think you nerded out on. I don't nerd out on draft players either. Like I don't. I do have a full-time job. This does not pay the bills. If you want me to pay the bills, you got to do something to make the bills paid. Somebody send me a tip or something. Whatever. Pascal was taking snaps from Quez. Yeah, I mean, I would have been okay with Pascal staying on this team. OZ will, in my opinion, earn the right to be the slot guy. He's faster. He's better. He tracks balls better than Quez Watkins. Quez Watkins, probably the 4th on this team. Go get Jarvis Landry. pushes him back to the 5th. Maybe he doesn't even make the team anymore. I don't know. I don't feel like I don't mind him running people over. You just got to do your research on your team. Yeah, I don't want it happening a lot. How about that? I don't want it happening a lot. Most drafts are gambles. There's a lot of gambles. Yeah, okay, so I get it. And that's what I thought you were saying. I thought that's what I didn't call you a weirdo. I think this is what you're saying. I just don't think it read when I said it out loud the first time the right way. I got 4 dogs. I got 2 Fosters and 2 adopted pit bulls right now in my house right now. So, yeah, I get what you're saying. I think you're right. Pascal was a blocker. Quez was injured. Quez played a lot this year. Look, I know a lot of us are down on Quez because of the big moments. But, yeah. The wide receiver class, it was okay. It wasn't as good as it was other years. They want guys that can run fast in that spot, and that's why he's there. Yeah, but OZ's fast too. OZ might be the faster than Quez Watkins. He's the only guy in the NFL with 3 straight years with a touchdown of over 40 yards, I think is the stat. Since he's come into the league, he's had at least one 40-plus yard touchdown every year. He may have been hurt, but he wasn't injured. He played exactly. If you suit up and get on the field, you better be ready to go. You don't hear Jalen Hurts making excuses. He played injured. Yeah, a lot of wide receivers are a tough one to judge in the draft for sure. Real quick, before we wrap this show up, because we got about 5-10 minutes left in the show again. Shout out Joe Castro somehow winning another contest. Sixers. Got to talk about it for a few seconds here. I got to get my thoughts out. Again, Quez, big boy pants. Well, he's going to have to put them on if he wants to keep his spot on this team. Sixers Celtics tonight. The Celtics are 10-point favorite. Obviously, Joel Embiid is doubtful. I know Mark thinks that Joel Embiid plays. I do not. Let's go, Cam. I'm excited for game 1 tonight. I'll be watching it. I know we're down emotionally on this Sixers team, but I'll be watching with all my excitement and all my, Sixers love tonight. I just don't know how they could pull this series out with Joel Embiid not playing. Now, rumor, maybe he plays, maybe he doesn't. I know Mark thinks he plays. I don't think he plays. I find it hard to find and navigate a path that the Sixers can win this series or even this game 1 tonight. I do. It's hard for me to come up with a path of victory. Tobias Harris can go out there tonight, put up 20 points. Tyrese Maxey can go out there, put up 25. Harden could look like Houston Harden. And I still don't know if it's enough without Joel Embiid. 3-point shooting. They're going to have to shoot lights out. Lights out. And that still might not be enough. I don't know. Yeah, OZ don't drop passes. Drew, he had a chance. The game plan for Hurts. Yeah, exactly. The 3-point shooting. I mean, they're going to have to do that. I just don't see a series path to victory if Joel misses 2 or 3 games. If Joel's playing at 70% with a knee brace on. Cam, I just don't see the path to victory. I want to. I'm going to be cheering. I'm going to hashtag Sixers in 7 after the show. I just don't see it. They're going to have to expect Tyrese Maxey to come out tonight and put up 30-some points, at least. Pits do get a bad rap for sure. My pits are freaking amazing. They're all adopted. We get them from rescues. We adopt old dogs. I got a 15-year-old, a 13-year-old, and 2 9-year-old rescues right now that I'm taking care of. So, yeah, they're fantastic. They get such a bad rap. A lot, yeah. It's perception. Perception becomes reality for people. But the perception that's become reality is, can the Sixers team win with the way this team? It's just the Celtics are so good. They're so well coached. And are we going to get Houston Harden? We haven't even talked about the video of Harden slapping a guy in Vegas this weekend. I just don't know. I don't know if it's enough. If I had to put my money on it today, I'm putting my money that Sixers lose this series. And I'm going to say it. If Joel Embiid misses 1 or 2 games, the series is over in 5. If Joel Embiid doesn't miss time, the series is still probably over in 6. I know that's not what people want to hear. It's not what I want to say. But it just feels like that's the only way. The only outcome I could see. Need to guard the three-point line and rebound well. That's why if Joel Embiid doesn't play, Paul Reed's going to have a massive. And people earlier in the show were comparing Paul Reed to Dennis Rodman. I mean, he's going to have to play like Dennis Rodman. And you're going to need Maxey shooting 50% from deep. You're going to need Melton having those games where he knocks down 3 of 5. You're going to need Harden. Game 1 against Brooklyn Harden, where he knocked down 7 threes, not game 2 or 3, whenever it was, when he struggled mightily. Like, and still, if Maxey, Harden, and Melton are all knocking down threes, it's like, is it enough? Celtic coaches are like the Packers with quarterbacks. They just can't miss. I mean, just think about how many, it's like coach after coach after coach. It's like they don't skip a beat. It breaks my heart. It's nauseating. They always have a great coach. I just don't know. If you have a way, yeah, I supposedly it was his friend, and it was a pimp slap, not a bitch slap. I don't know. I'm fine with him being in Vegas. If they had a day or two off from practice, I'm fine with all that. I know people were freaking out that he should have been in Philly working on his jump shot. No. They want to blow off a little steam. They had 8 days off in between rounds. I'm all good with that. But it's like the Celtics are still turnover happy. Look, we saw it. If you watched any of the Hawks series, they made mistakes. They are a beatable team, the Celtics. The problem is, are we good enough with where Joel Embiid is to be that team? Or are we that much better than the Hawks if Joel Embiid doesn't play or is 70% with a knee brace? That's my problem. Yeah. I don't know. Dude, I saw it. I saw everybody overreacting to it. And look, it was what it was. James Harden is who he is. But we need Houston Harden to even stand a remote chance. I hope I come on here tomorrow. I hope the Sixers go out tonight and win tonight without Joel Embiid. And I can come on here tomorrow and say I was wrong. I just don't know how they do it. I'm going to have the Sixers losing in 6 this series. That's my official prediction. Sixers in, or Houston, or Boston in 6. See, I even almost said Sixers in 6 because I want it so bad. PJ's going to be wide open. Promise he don't knock him down at a very high clip. Yeah, and their coaching is so good. It's Celtics in 6 for me. And that's with Joel Embiid missing game 1, coming back game 2 at 70%, and just being, he's going to be, if he's got a brace on, he's not going to move as well. He's going to take a lot of threes and jump shots. He's not going to roll to the rim and do the things he does. The pick and roll, which you can beat Boston with the pick and roll. It's just not going to be as effective with Joel Embiid wearing a knee brace and at his 70% level. So I got Celtics in 6 with Joel missing game 1, coming back hobbled in game 2, and then that's it. They get one game. The way I see it, I think they go down 2-0. They win game 3. Maybe they win game 3 and 5. That's about it. That's the way I see it. You're going 7 games. I mean, if Joel Embiid was even 80, 85%, like I'm leaving my prediction open-ended. If Joel Embiid comes out and plays tonight, and this is all like Mark says, smoke and mirrors, and he's 80% and he's fine, I leave it open that I could change my opinion. But from what I'm seeing physically right now, in videos and online and reporters, I'm saying he's not, and that's why I'm not going 7. I think if Joel Embiid was healthy, if he didn't we got to blame Brooklyn for beating the hell out of Joel Embiid in that last series. A lot of what's going on with Joel Embiid is because of Brooklyn. So let's boo Brooklyn like there's no tomorrow. I don't want him doing all that, burning himself out and get hurt. It's because the Celtics got starters on the bench. They do. I want Marcus Smart. That's who I want. I hate him because he's a Celtic, but Marcus Smart on this team, we'd be a different team. We had that kind of mentality that Marcus Smart has on this team. But yeah, I'm going Sixers, losing in 6. If Joel Embiid magically turns up tonight and plays well, I change that to Celtics in 7, maybe Sixers in 7. But at this point, I'm at Sixers losing in 6 games to the Boston Celtics. Phillies, really quick, played really well. We're going to leave that. We'll get into Phillies tomorrow. We'll talk tomorrow. We'll talk Celtics, Sixers, game 1. We'll talk Phillies. We'll put football on the back burner for a few days. We'll focus on basketball and baseball these next couple of days. Heat took Celtics to a 7. A healthy Sixers can beat them, but they're not healthy, and that's the problem. And that's the thing. Without Embiid, it's cooked. It's over. Game over. Thanks for checking in here at the end here, Rio. Real quick, Sixers or Phillies looked good. They did. Bryce Harper may be back on Tuesday. We'll find out today. So that's what we're going to talk about tomorrow. We'll recap tonight's Sixers game. We'll dive deeper into the Sixers team tomorrow. We'll talk Phillies and their winning 2 straight series against really good teams. Harper being back. Thank you to everybody. Again, make sure we're liking and subscribing and following on all social media platforms. PJ Tucker's going to knock the room over with those bricks that he's throwing up. I love it. Everybody have a great Monday. It's a beautiful Monday out there. Let's not worry about the Sixers. Let's enjoy the game tonight. Might be the end of the process this week. This week or two, next week or two, might be the end of the process as we know it. So let's focus. Let's enjoy it. Shout out to Joe Castro winning again. You bastard. I hate you. Anyway, have a great day, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. But back tomorrow, 8:30 a.m. Turn those notifications on. Follow. For Philadelphia Sports Network, I am Phil Stifle. Y'all have a great day.